Hi everybody, this is Deborah from Thrive, and this is a short video today on a topic that we get asked about a lot. It's around the SASSA Care Dependency Grant. So SASSA stands for the South African Social Security Agency, and they are the body that gives out these care dependency grants. So many of you may be eligible to receive this grant. So very firstly, I just wanted to say that there are certain criteria that excludes you or includes you from being able to apply. And I'm going to go through those first off. If you are successful in your application, you receive an amount of 1,890 Rand per month for every month while you remain eligible. So first of all, you need to be a parent or a primary caregiver or a registered foster parent of a child who requires significant additional care. You must be either a South African citizen or an official permanent resident or a registered refugee in South Africa. You and the child must both live in South Africa, and the child must be under 18 years of age. You also are required to have an official document, a medical document, giving record to the reason why your child needs significant care. So for our deaf and hard of hearing kids, that would be the audiology report that you receive from your audiologist or from your hospital. And then the last criteria to include or exclude you from applying for the grant is your means. So they do something called means testing. And this is where they want to make sure that you do not have sufficient funds already to care for the child. And the threshold that they set is an income of 223,000 Rand per year. So if you earn more than that, you're not eligible to apply. If you earn less than that, you are eligible to apply. So the monthly amount that translates to is around 8,600 Rand per month. So only people earning less than that are eligible. Now, if you have a spouse, if you're married, then what they will do is they will take the income of yourself and your spouse, they will add it together and then divide it by 2. So, and they will then again check that you are within that limit of 223,000 Rand per year or 18,600 Rand per month. Okay. So once you've confirmed that you're eligible to apply, there are some documents that you need to gather together. And those documents include, now these need to be original documents, or they need to be certified copies, or if you don't have any of these documents, you are able to attest to the information that these require in a sworn affidavit. One catch is that can't just be any affidavit, it needs to be a template that you get from the SASSA office. So you will need to go along to the SASSA office, you will need to get a template for the affidavit, and you will need to swear affidavits for any of these documents that you are not able to provide. So the list of documents that you need to gather before you go along and apply for the grant are firstly your identity document of yourself, and if you're married, the identity document of yourself and your spouse, the birth certificate for the child for which you are applying for the grant. You need something to confirm your relationship status. So this might be a marriage certificate, it might be a divorce order, it might be the death certificate of your spouse. So it's just showing what your relationship status, and obviously if you're single, you would require a sworn affidavit to say that you are not married. So you also need supporting documents to prove your income, as well as a sworn oath or an affidavit, again on the template provided by SASSA, confirming your income, as well as supporting documents proving your income. So that would be things like pay slips, or maybe a bank statement where you can just highlight what you do earn. So again, if any of these documents aren't available, you need to get the affidavit template from SASSA, and you need to attest to the information required on that affidavit. Oh yes, and then just the last thing you need, which I've already mentioned, is you need to submit the medical report showing why your child needs significant additional care. And so for us, that would most likely be the audiology report that we have. Okay. So once you've gathered those documents, now note that I've not said an application form, because an application form is not something that you can get online, or the only place you can get that is at the SASSA office, but it's not something you fill in beforehand. You fill it in at the SASSA office at the time of your application, in front of and with the support of a SASSA officer. So, and then obviously you need to show that person all of your supporting documents. Now, I have tried many times to phone the toll-free telephone number to get hold of the SASSA office. I've also tried all the provincial numbers, and I've tried the email address, and I've not been successful, and I've tried quite persistently. I've not been successful in getting hold of anyone. So your best bet is to go along to the closest provincial office to you, and what I'll do in the comments down below here, I'll just list where those offices actually are. So once you've lodged all those documents and you've filled in the application form, you will receive a stamped receipt from the SASSA officer. You need to keep that because it is the only proof you have of your application. There is no fee. You don't have to pay anything when you apply for this. And something else to mention is that if you're not able to go along to the offices, if you're sick or perhaps you're disabled yourself, then you can send somebody else, a family member or a friend, along to do the application on your behalf. You will be notified in writing if you are successful or not in your application. And the good news is that if you are successful, then you will receive the first payment within that month that you apply. Now, I can't guarantee that's going to be the same in all cases, but it certainly seems like the turnaround time for the application is relatively quick, and you will also receive the payment backdated to the date when you submitted the application. It's not guaranteed that your application is going to be successful. In some cases, they might reject it. Maybe the paperwork is not correct, or maybe they'll let you know in writing the grounds with which they've rejected your application. And if they do reject it, then you are able to ask them to reconsider it. Maybe you need to get further documentation, or maybe support your case in a stronger way. But you can certainly reapply and ask them to reconsider your application. If you get rejected from that a second time, you can then go through a formal appeal process to the Minister of Social Development. When you do fill in the application form, there is a place where you will state how you wish the grant to be paid to you every month, and there are three possible ways. The first way would be electronically, so that is into your bank account or your post bank account. Secondly would be you can receive cash at certain points. There are designated pay points where you can go in every month and receive a cash payment. And then other institutions also facilitate the payment. So these would be certain welfare organizations, and they will inform you of exactly who those are when you go along with your application form. And again, if you're not able to go and collect the grant every month, you can nominate a person to do that on your behalf. Now, it's important to say that SASSA might do a review of your case at any point in time, and they will inform you in writing of this review, and it is certainly in your best interest to really cooperate with them. In fact, you are obliged to cooperate with them if they want to review your case, and this means that they just want to check that everything is still in order, that your circumstances are still the same, that nothing's changed, and that you're still eligible for the grant. And I would certainly say, cooperate with them, as much as you can if that does happen to you. And if you, it's quite important that if there is a change in your circumstances, that you need to tell SASSA. And one of the changes in circumstances might be that you have a change of address. That might be your postal or your physical address. They use the post to give people information and updates, etc., or if they want to review your case, or if they're even suspending your application, they're going to inform you via post. So it's really important that if your physical address or your postal address changes, that you do let them know. You need to go into the offices again. It's unlikely you'll be able to contact them any other way, and you need to inform them of that change of address. And it would be a very good idea to take proof of residence along. And in fact, nowhere in any of the official documents does it talk about taking proof of residence, but I would suggest that that is a document that you take with the very first time that you go, just in case they do ask you for that. So there are grounds upon which your grant would be suspended, and those, most of them are pretty obvious. So that would be if the child becomes institutionalized. So if they go into residential care, that is paid for by the state. That means that you are no longer eligible for the grant, and the grant would be suspended. If you are no longer the foster parent of the child, if your refugee status is taken away, or you're no longer permanent residents, you move out of the country, obviously all things like that, which are quite obvious. And then of course, if the child turns 18, so if they're over 18 years of age, then the grant would be suspended. So as I've said, I'll list the SASSA offices in the YouTube comments below. I hope this information is helpful. It's unfortunate that it's not easier to get hold of the offices, that you do actually have to go in. But it certainly seems from the people who do receive the grant that at least the turnaround time is fast, and that you will receive that money every month once you have qualified and once you have applied and they have accepted your application. So good luck, everybody. It's certainly an amount of money that will help in some way. So yeah, best of luck.